Welcome back to my messy bench. Today I'll be building a little splitter box for the power poles, and I found this 3D printed case for that, and I'm gonna in this video try to assemble that splitter box and hope that everything is working great on that. So my plan is to have the splitter box be able to support 30 amps of power. So the bridges I will be building in there need to be somewhat beefy, and that's the reason why I have the splitter box and don't just split it by wires, because I need to run a 10 gauge wire right into these 30 amp connectors, and I can't put two 10 gauge wires into those crimp connectors. So still kind of trying to figure out how to do it. I think I'll be putting these crimp connectors in there with 10 gauge wires, and then just bridge them over and kind of solder them all together into probably a big blob or something. This case here that I found, somebody redesigned that to use screws in here. So those are M4 screws. It's designed to hold the nuts right here and the screws. The ones I had lying around were 16mm stainless steel screws, so I shoved them in there. They have a hex head. It still works to shove them through there, and when you close them, it should have enough gap there for the nut to hold on to that. So right now over at the printer, we have the soldering guides being printed. Right now I just try to get away with printing one guide. So I just take these power poles, stick the black and the red ones together, put them on the guide, and that should help me solder all the connectors together, and then I plop it into the final casing. So we'll find out if that works out good. So the filament I'm currently using is PETG, and the printouts come out quite nicely. It's just standard settings. What did I do? 15mm quality. I use the pusher filament settings, even though I don't use the pusher filaments right now. It's some other filament that I'm using. So I guess I can start now assembling these pairs, snapping those together. So we'll be needing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll be starting on that now. So while assembling those ones, you want to make sure that you're not doing this here, where you swap the sides around, because you want to make sure that all of them are the same way aligned, that you get the connections correct. The main part is you need to look at the wires that you have done prior, so your system interconnects with everything. And if you're lucky, you're gonna use the same way as your hand friends are gonna do that as well out in the field. That way you can collaborate with them on the power pole connectors. So now we got those ones done. They would be going into here like this. And the next thing is to find what wire I want to use. I'm still gonna decide about either solid copper wire or stranded copper wire. I'm gonna see what I have on solid copper wire, if that's also 10 gauge or if that's much smaller. Yeah, that was a pretty easy decision. I'm gonna go with the stranded because I have 10 gauge there. On solid I just have the house wiring, so that would be 14 and 12 gauge. So that's less than what I really want to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and crimp those ones on. So this time I'm just gonna split those wires apart anyway, so I don't have to worry about how I orient the crimps. So just want to do a nice crimp here. I always hate that this die of the crimp is exactly the opposite. Oh, no, wait, that goes actually this way. Never mind. It'll be fine. And just have to shove it in here somehow. There. Okay, it's all flat in there. So we move that in here to the where we need to, crimp it, and should have that a nice crimp there. Yep, perfect. So that's a nice crimp. Do the same thing with the black one. Go in. Don't want to go too far in, we don't want to go too little in. And crimp it. And that looks like a good crimp as well. Perfect. So we have done one. We can now insert those guys. This ones would be this way. They need to come over to that side. These guys will be in. Yeah, they have a specific way they need to go in this way. So they don't go in like that. Okay. So now we want to see how to solder all that stuff together. Theoretically, you could make a nice one single run right from here to there, but the problem you just have to solder the other ones on to the outside. The other option would be to make them all stranded and somehow tangle them together. That will be interesting. This way, you could bridge those ones. Go those ones across. Maybe. Hope that I have enough space in here too. The one thing is, if I make the bridge in there, that also doesn't give me, but then I have one more wire too to worry about. Gonna be tricky. I kind of like that bridge idea. To do it this way, bridge these across and have them below it like that, and have this one go across and just open-ended there, and then tie them together with a thin copper wire and solder the whole blob together. I mean, yeah, 3. How many can you shove in there? Can definitely put 3 in there. Whew. So if I just go ahead and cut this one over here and then strip the whole thing off. And then see where we go on that part. I think that's the goal here. A little damage there. Definitely shouldn't go too far in. It's my stripper. No, it doesn't want to go enough in. Oh. Gravity check. There, bit better. And the rest here. The heck? Oh shoot. It's not good to pull them out like that. Maybe I need to slice them this way, so I don't start pulling all the strands out. Oops. So let's go ahead and do some slicey dicey. Preferably without blood. Did that work? I think that's how I'm gonna do the next one on that, just to slice them up so I don't pull out all the strands. But that one should be still okay. So when we take this guy, insert it, bend it around, should work. Hold on a sec. So fresh from the bakery, we got the soldering template. So that doesn't have, which one is it? Yeah, it's this one. It doesn't have the backside, so it's nicely exposed, which means we can put these things in here and start working on them. Of course, we need to watch out that we don't go too far out this way, because our space is still limited. So let's double check again with my, yep, all the right directions. Good. So the goal then is insert that, bend it over, and run it through the housing. So let's put them side by side here, so I know how much go over. So yeah, now the question is, I'm gonna try doing that one in one piece. So be nice to know how far in. These go about that far, I think. So it would be somewhere around right here. So the length would be somewhere right about here on the wire. Right about, let's make it longer because this here is an arch and I don't want that arch. So let's just cut it longer and figure out the exact length later. Now I have to strap the housing, not the housing, sorry, the cover here all the way down. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, that worked. So if I can tear that apart all the way down, that would be awesome. Kind of want to leave the wires together and not make a humongous mess like I'm doing right now. Yeah. So, crap. Strands don't fall out. Something didn't get put into the... Maybe I need to start just soldering on this part first before I do anything. Let's figure it out. So this is that way. So this needs to go in this way. And now we need to figure out how that guy is going in. This is exactly the opposite direction, right? The pump is in the... So if you look at that, oh no, these are, so it goes in like this here. Over here it goes in like this. Right? Yep. Okay. So let's grab this guy here. We need to align everything. I'm wondering if I should just shove that in there now. Kind of feeling like I just want to dab sort of there so it doesn't come apart on me, because it's not being nice right now. So let me set up the solder station. Hey, let's go ahead and solder that guy on. Oops. I should have switched the tip, I think. Yeah, it's working. Shove this solder nicely in there so it goes deep down into the copper. At the same time, we don't want to make a big blob either. Whee! Hot, by the way. So we got that. Now we need to put on the other side, and tricky part there is probably let it cool down a little bit, although I might want to put more solder on there. Yeah, no, it's a little bit on the bottom as well. Okay, I got it cooled down so I actually can touch it again. We're gonna insert the tab like this, and it's always a little tricky. I'm trying to take a flat screwdriver and put it on the crimp housing, bit pressure on there to push that in. I always find that the tricky part, and I think I have too big of a screwdriver here. This one is smaller. Again, taking a flat screwdriver, pushing on the housing until it clicks in. There, that should be it. Perfect. Okay, so now we have this housing in here. We bring that around the turn here, and somewhere right here needs to be our other crimp piece. So we will be twisting these wires here so we are a little bit more solid on the same plane here. So around right there we need to cut it off. Let's take a marker. I don't know if you can see it, so I have it right, this one set in. Right here is the marking where the Anderson pole is being held in, and I'm gonna cut it right around here off and hope that is right. Right, cut right here. Oh man, that was a mess here. And now we put the connector on, and the connector needs to be in this way, so the tab needs to be that way. Crimpy, crimpy. Line that nicely. So we're just saying we need to, yeah, we want everything inside of the crimp. Let's twist that again. Oh. The wire is just coming out again. Things are not going along my plan here. So got that started. Why are you gonna stay in there? Push that in and crimp it. Should have a halfway decent crimp now. Should be there. And let's just go ahead and solder that mess again, so we have a solid connection down here. and don't run into any problems in the future. That's gonna burn like crazy. Yeah, that would work. Take this, put something heavy there that heats up all of our temperature though, heat. So go ahead and left-handed soldering. That's gonna be interesting. No, not gonna do left-handed. Get enough solder ready. Put some on the tip. Heat the whole mess up. Put more on the tip. Don't drop it on my feet. And now let's heat it up. Okay, I think that's good. We have there a wet little rag. Just to take the heat off a little bit quicker. Yeah, that looks good. So the one thing is, once we're soldering it, we have to make sure that we don't start melting the power pole housings. Not sure how heat resistant those guys are. But back to our plan. Putting in the black one. So that's the same way. We just shove that guy right in here. Like before. Yep, it clicked in. Now we have that. Our housing, where did I hide it? Right here. That goes in here, and let's see if we can fit this whole mess in here at all. Yeah, this kind of works. I'm a little concerned about storing it in there, that we might screw it up how much room we have. Maybe I need to, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, so right here, that's the plan for this guy. Then we have the other guys. This one here, that was supposed to be that one. So I can go ahead and solder this together. I actually want to have that 90° there. Yeah, I don't know where the 90° will be. Let's leave it straight and try not to solder too far down. And make our solder blob on that guy. So again, putting the iron flat down on here. Putting enough solder on the iron tip so it would transfer the heat. Wait, you see it's already moving the solder away from the tip into the wires, so we just feed it up in the front. Tiny bit on the back. I don't really want too much in the back because we need to bend the back there, so let's hope that is enough. Help cool this sucker a little bit down. And there we go. So we got that one done. The next one will be the bridge. Guess we could plug that in already. Becoming a pro now. So that's that plan, and now we have a plan of doing that short bridge. That will be another interesting one. So we go ahead, strip off a decent amount. Actually double check how much we need to strip off. So about another part like that. Just wondering if I can get away with this. Okay, I need a, where did they go? Grab another print thing. Okay, those are the wrong size, so I can put those guys away. And right here we have them. Make a slight twist in here so they're nice and together. I can actually shove them into the tool. Crimp. There we got a nice crimp. Now we need to solder that on. Problem is I have the cable at the end, so it's kind of back weighted. Not sucking in totally. From the tip. Okay, I think that's good enough right now. So now I have to figure out the length. I need to cut it off. Well, we probably could just put that guy in. That will help us find out the length a bit easier. So this is let's grab this guy. And we have the same thing over here. So we need to bend that guy over like this, and then bend it once more here. And then come down here. We actually have long enough a wire, we could wrap it around there. That might be a nice way to do it. So I was thinking of this here. If you have that on here and have this coming, for example, going under there, around there, something like this, would that be cool? I kind of like that part. Yeah, I do like that. So we cut this wire. That's my marker. Black on black. Should work horribly. So we cut that wire somewhere right around here. And solder the connector on. Can we just pull that off? Awesome. Yay. Now we twist this. And so this crimp goes on just like this here. Should be the same. I need to unbend stuff here. And oh, sorry, wire in front of you. Shove that in and go ahead. So what you're watching here is engineering in progress, if you really want to call that engineering. Okay. Yep, should be fine. So now we can go ahead and insert that guy. I bet working with the red one is gonna be more interesting. One way we kind of have an idea of what we want to do. At the same time, we have to work around the black wire. that is already there. No, I wanted to go that under and over, right? Ah, let's go this under and over. Here. That's our next question here. How do we want to do this? Do we want to... Let's use this guy. So if we have this in here, do we want to go over and around here? Have this wire go... Yeah, I think so. Put that guy in first. What am I doing wrong now? Yeah, it goes this way. Oh crap. Shoot. Houston, we have a problem. Oh crap, I used the wrong one here. Shoot. Oh man, I had that one that I connected wrong. Right here in the place. Don't leave the stuff ever connected wrong. And now I have a hard time getting these two apart. That's why I had them lying here. So I wasn't able to get them apart yet. All I need to do is push this down. Simple as that. It just doesn't want to go. Does not want to go at all. Okay, I'm gonna mess around with this here for a little longer, trying to get that apart again. So see you in a little bit. So here a quick update on what I did. I kind of wrapped them and braided them around. So that will be our big old bus bar. So now we need to solder them together. Let me take that apart and show you. So here's the open part. Definitely need to push those wires a little bit down away from the red area, so we still have some room for the red wires, and then we just solder that whole thing together. So I cleaned that up a little bit from the rosin with alcohol, and that's what the solder blob looks. It really sucks up the solder quite a bit, so be ready to have some solder for that. I think it turned out okay if I get that into the box. The one thing is it's a little wide and I need to put the red wires in there as well, so that will be slightly challenging. On the soldering, I did solder it on the template, and if you see it, it was getting close to hot there. It did melt a little bit, and right around here. It got a little bit stuck onto the power poles, so yeah, it's kind of a throwaway piece of at this point. You want to print it out again for the next one. I'm gonna do the other side. I'll still have to see if I want to use a template or how I'm gonna do that. So right here it's in the housing, so it fits in nicely. As mentioned, it comes a little bit up there. I definitely have to put an insulation material between the positive and the negative. I'll have to see what that insulation material would be. If it's heat resistant, that would be awesome. Yeah, so the next part is wiring up, and then the hard part is soldering up this second part here. And if that turns out as well as that, the first part, and we have a good insulation between those two, then I'll be really happy about this contraption. So I went ahead and put in this bridge here, and again, on measuring it, it's basically the wire goes from this notch to that notch, and you lay out. That's how you calculate the proper length of the wire. So now I'm doing this bridge here, and again I measured the wire, the length from here to here, and it seems to be working out fairly decent. So let me go ahead and strip this down. I probably should have just put on the connector first on one side and then cut it, just because the stripping part is a little bit easier when it's connected. Don't pull everything apart. So I'm leaving the rest on right now. Put the crimp on, solder it, and then I work on the other side. So let's go ahead. Do the crimping just like before. No biggie here. And the gloves that you're seeing that I'm wearing, just wearing those gloves because I was cleaning up the resin with alcohol, and it's just much nicer to wear gloves when you deal with alcohol there. This solder here, again I was trying on that big blob to use that solder because yeah, it's just a big blob. It doesn't have to be so fine. I just put some resin on it with the resin stick and it should be just working fine. But no, that solder just does not want to melt at all, and it's just a nightmare to work with that stuff. So I've been working with this solder that I had for quite a while from Radio Shack still. This here 6040, and that's working just very nicely out. So there I put on a little bit too much heat, I noticed. Too much talking. It melted the jacket there a little bit, so that will be a little harder to get this jacket off here. Not perfect. Not perfect. Let's see if you can pull that off. Good. All the water's coming out of here. So the answer is right now no. So let me take this off and again continue talking about it. You think we can hold it with the crimp tool? Don't really want to. I'm gonna ruin the crimp there if I do that. Probably just go the painful way of cutting it again. It would be nice to start from the top here, because then things don't come apart as badly. So I got all the way in there, and let's see if we can pull that off easily. There we go. Okay, that worked. Not too bad, not too shabby. So let's go ahead and twist that together so we can work with this much better. And I always get that messed up. This way, this way. So we want that exactly on the opposite side. The other. Oh wait. Undid it. Normally I twist it always the other way, but for some reason this wire was already kind of twisted that way, so I thought of going this way. So it should be the opposite. Alright, yep. So this way. And now not screw up and twist that again. So we got this in. We need to put that the opposite. Oh crap. I got that a little too tight now already. Yeah. Not so great. Can I still shove that in here? I need to bend that open a little bit more. Yeah, I need to bend that open. Okay, so it needs to be the opposite. That would be not easy with these big wires. Let's just see if the crimp is okay. There, and now we can do a little adjustment. We can twist that so these two are nicely on top of each other, and then we can solder it. Yeah, good enough, I would say. So let's go ahead, grab the iron, the 9 iron. And go ahead, a little bit on the other side. I think that's good. Don't touch that with your fingers. Yeah, there's a lot of solder on it. Yeah, good enough. Because these things are really hot. So I'm cheating a little bit with the towel, the wet towel. Okay. The one thing, try not to do is too much of a temperature shock. So let's go now over to cleaning that one up. So yeah, I'm just using alcohol, Q-tips, dip that in the alcohol and then start wiping it off, or sometimes I just spray a little bit alcohol on it. Oops. And then start wiping it off. And this part is really not that bad to wipe off. It's still fairly easy. Once you do the big chunk, it'll be much harder. So this time around it's gonna be different because it's already all together, so we can't move individual items. So we're gonna bend the wire how we want to do that and then insert it. So on the last one I did the U right here, and this one was the long one, and we got this big fat glob there. I'm gonna move that over to here, I think, this time, just so to spread out the love a little bit, so I have a gap in here to put some insulation in it. That's the idea. If it works, shoot, I don't know, we'll find out. I think I'm gonna make this L here first so I can wrap that around it nicely. Okay, let's go ahead and start on that. So just grab the longer wire. I'm leaving it on this time. Just be generous on how much you take off. Actually, a little bit more. Doesn't hurt. Kind of make an indentation so it rips there, but not too through. Otherwise we're gonna damage the wires underneath it again. And see, it really has this way twist, which I'm not personally. I want to twist it always the other way. Don't know why. That's just habit. So at this point it doesn't matter how we attach the connector, we don't have to align it with the other end, so that should be much easier. So let's put it in there, making sure that all the wires go inside of it. Then we crimp it. Yeah, that looks good. And now we just put our solder blob on there. So put on the iron. Heat up nicely. So the goal is just put enough solder on the iron tip itself to make a good contact, and then you actually want to put the solder on the workpiece so it sucks nicely into the workpiece. That would be the nice optimal way of doing it. Yeah, good enough. So what was the goal? This here, and this comes out that way. Okay. So maybe actually this way, yeah. So right in here we put that, we turn here, we could go there, and yeah, let's just make it longer. We can always cut it later. So let's go ahead and be generous and add some more on it. So we have a twist here. This is this way. So let's see if we can just twist that thing off. I was able to do that last time, and I think I'm moving here, so that will be much nicer. Don't have to cut it. We'll have the wires nicely twisted together, maybe, and we don't cut any strands. So that works because we soldered the wires up there. If we wouldn't have done that, things would just come apart. We just pull out strands of the wires, which wouldn't be great for us. So our plan was do the U here, do this in here, and go forward on that one. Which side should we run that on? Probably just on the bottom side or so, I don't know. come in from the top here, just because I don't know, really kind of sucks. Maybe I should have put that in first. Let's push that out and come in from down here. Yeah, that works right now. So we stuck that in. Gonna set that down, get my flat screwdriver again and push that in. And I don't think you're gonna be able to see much what I'm doing here. Right there, I'm just pushing it on the side, on the crimping housing in, and it went down. It didn't snap in yet. You hear the click, just like on the lock-picking lawyer. You hear the click on the number 3 here, and we're good. I haven't heard it yet. I think I need a smaller one. I'm not getting in there very well. There was even a bigger screwdriver here. That's a smaller one. So am I in? No, does not look quite right here yet. Kind of hard to get anywhere now. It looks like on this side I need to push more down. I don't know if I missed the click already. I might have had it already. I think it's in there. Nope. Okay, now we know. That was not it yet. Shouldn't come out like that. So we can push it nicely in. I haven't heard a click yet. Oh, there it is, the click. The long-awaited click. Okay. So we want to twist these wires more. Somehow we want to keep all that stuff away from there too. Man, this is gonna be hard. On top of here, on bottom of there. Oof, boy. Where did I put the other wire bridge that we put on there? I know we have it. Oh, right there. So this is gonna be hard. Nearly that one comes up from below it really nicely. So we should just shove that in here and then come around and shove that up there. So this should come around and come out here. That would be nice. Of course, easier said than done, right? Oh, wrong way again. Yes, way. So how can we get it underneath there without making a huge mess and coming through? See how it wants to spread already? That is not what I want. I wonder if I should just put a crimp end or something on there that we just cut off. Do I have a humongous crimpy thing? Let me see. So yeah, I did find a crimp. I don't want to shove it all the way in there. I need to get the crimp tool off. So I think probably what we want to do is just crimp the very, oops, that's not a marker. The marker here, just crimp the very top up to here. Marker dry out on me? Oop, yep, did it.
So let's grab a different marker maybe. We have more luck. So we want to be somewhere around here. I think that's good enough. You can see that. Take the crimp tool. Have I hit that? Yeah, that's the wrong box. So is that a big enough crimp tool? Yep. So this is the crimp tool. So once we crimp that, you won't be able to get over this side. So what I do, but I do really want to come in from that side, because that allows me to see how far I can crimp. So let's move that guy in. No, that's not great. Let's just do it this way and then mark here. No, I don't know how far in. I need to mark on that side. Okay. So let's make a secondary mark here. So right here is how far we go. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I think I can see it. We'll see in a sec if I can. So we move that all the way in there, still the blue is hitting that section. Then coming in. Okay, again, blue hitting that section. Let's go ahead and crimp. There. Now we have this nice crimp here. And things shouldn't fall apart on us if we go through there. Let's see if that was a good idea or a bad idea. So, okay, a bad idea is it's much longer now. So let's see, it doesn't need to be that long because we don't have anything there. So let's cut it off right halfway on the crimp, somewhere around here. There. And now it's a little bit shorter, and maybe we can get things easier through there. Needle nose pliers would be nice. So we grab it right here and pull it through. So far, yeah, kind of okay. It's getting a little messy here. But what we do now is just worry about the other one. So we shove in this wire first, then push that down and shove in that wire in there. So we go ahead and put that in here. Grab our screwdriver and push it down until we get a click on the number 2. Not there yet. There's the screwdriver. Doesn't that make you wonder if you could use a lock-picking set for this work? I don't think we are there yet. I haven't heard a click or anything. I'm just gonna pull it out again if I test it now, I bet. So let's just try. Man, I can get in there. Too much wires. Yeah, man, that is getting trickier and trickier. I heard it. Did you hear it? We got our click on number 2. And so now we go to number 3. Oh man, this is gonna be tricky. Oh gosh. Oh man, that's tight. Oh, maybe I should have put that in. Oh, okay, I got it in first. So if you're recreating this, you might want to put that in first, so you have it easier to turn that, put that in. Basically bend a U and shove it at the same time a little bit into the area. You don't have to click it in at the same time. just so that it's there. And this whole thing is like probably not aligned quite right. So let's see if I can just use force to shove that in, or if we have to do something else there. It still doesn't like it. Yeah, this whole thing needs to rotate that way slightly bit more. Can I do that with the pliers? Did it rotate? I can't tell. Let's see what we did. It moves a little bit here. I felt it. I don't see it moving much. Oh yeah, my screwdriver is getting stuck in here again. So all we wait for is the click on the one. This is going to be tight there. To get these two things separated. We'll worry about that a little bit later after that we get that click. We're pretty close to the click though. I don't know. From the looks I would say I have gotten a click. But there it was. So the moral of the story is don't go by looks. Okay, we're making our case a little dirty here. Maybe I should have cleaned up the work surface. Anyway, so that looks crap actually. Let's be real, it doesn't look that great. The problem we have is we are pretty close to each other there. On I'm even able to get this out. Come on, baby. Yeah. Right there, we are interestingly close there. But what we can do is we can cut that and then the wires will wrap around it a bit better. Also need to squish this a little bit more in. Which, oh yeah, right there. That helped. So, not too bad really. Not too bad. Can we still use this guy? We place that in here. That would keep it somewhat in the right shape, and from the melting perspective it would be away from our heat a little bit, because that's on the black side here. But I might have melted this stuff a bit too crazy. So that single one is going in there fine. Right here, it's this here that is kind of messed up. If I just cut that off, would that be good enough, or am I gonna cause other problems? There. So that was our troublemaker. Oh, the whole thing comes off now. Oh well. So put that in. Put these in. Kind of holds it in place. might be good enough for what we want to do. So we want to make sure that we can put that in the case, so it shouldn't rub on this side, shouldn't rub on this side, and we need a gap here. That's good. So looks fairly decent besides these random strands here. Not sure where they came from. Oh, right there, I think. Is that another one I could just pull on? Yeah, I think that's it. There. So that looks fairly clean. I think I just leave it like that and even leave that cap on for now. Cut that off at the very end and start soldering stuff on. Here. Yep, let's go ahead and start our fun soldering adventure here. Don't need the glove for right now. What would be nice is having a wider thicker solder than the thin one that I have, and one that isn't as crazy as the Chinese one that I have. That is, I don't know what is wrong with that. No, I have this little thing here. I'm gonna use that up. That's a bit thicker. That should work fine. So let's go ahead and start soldering. So put solder on there, put solder on here, and you're pretty much heating this whole thing up. It's gonna take a while. Let's just double check that there's no difference between those two solders. So right now this copper strand isn't warm enough, otherwise you can just touch it somewhere else. Yeah, right here it's now getting warmer, and you can just touch and melt it right into the copper strand. So let's go on a different spot close by, then you don't have to heat up too much. Yeah, that's good. Problem we have, it's a big wire that we are soldering together. It's a lot of material. So I'm just waiting and letting heat it in so the solder gets absorbed more in the material. Yeah. Don't tip over on me. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but right here it really nicely sucks it into the wires, into the various strands. It's like a sponge. And we're just saturating the sponge. It's just the right amount. You don't need to make a huge drip so it doesn't drip out on the bottom again. I mean, that's what you saw there, the drip on the wood board. That was at the end when we just put so much solder on it that just dripped out on the other side. And we really don't want to make a big solder blob. What we want to do is put this solder in there so all the different strands get soldered together and have a good connection. Ultimately, it's the copper that conducts electricity best. And what we want to make sure is that each strand can be utilized for sure. And if you are some engineer in that area, you probably know much more about this stuff than I do. And with a little luck, I am way over engineering this, because that's my goal here. Ouch, hot. Did anybody tell you that this thing is hot? Let's see if we can use that thick, or is it just a different? No, I'm just not having that good luck with it yet either. So whatever I have right here is like pretty awesome. Radio Shack. We don't have a Radio Shack here anymore. That means I need to figure out where to get quality solder here eventually. Ouch. Problem is, when you do all this soldering here, it gets eventually pretty damn hard. So, ouch, again. So right now I'm just trying to find all spots where I can just add more solder to it. That makes sense. Let's turn that around, that we don't make a huge blob there that goes and attaches to the other side. That would not be our goal. I think we're pretty good here. Looking at it, I think we need to make a little bit more on the connections. We can try to put a little bit solder right on those connection items right here. Does that make sense? Who knows? And So right here we could put some more on. So these blobs kind of more exist because we are not doing the best work in heating up everything. So it stays somewhat localized. And I think maybe that's okay. Because we wanted to give it a little bit more beef there. And at this point I would say that's good enough. Let that cool down, clean that up, and see if you can actually put that box still on that side. And we need to cut off this extra wire here. Yeah, you definitely hear it's warm, and you can feel the heat on those connectors too. So let's go ahead and see if we can cut that off nicely. Not too bad. Then I have these couple wires here. I need the very fine cutters like these here, so we can do some surgery. There, so we have now a decent gap, I would say. Let's clean that up and see if we can put the housing on there. Could actually just double check the housing right now. And yeah, this is slightly concerning. Oh, what? See, this is much higher than on the other side. So yeah, right there we have some issue shoving that in. What can we do here? But right here you kind of see how nicely the solder went in between the strands. That's good. So this here might be able to heat it up and put pressure on it. This is not so easy. Or can we just force that in here somehow? It's definitely not much. Just a little bit. There. Yeah, I think we can force that in. Yeah, that should be fine. Then we put that cover on and we'll be done. So let's go ahead and clean that up. I probably don't bother you with that. And just again with alcohol, clean that up and then assemble. Just monsters. So here's the cleaned up splitter. So we have a nice gap in between those ones. I need to build an insulator for that, and it feels really heavy. I would say it should be able to carry the current that I was planning on, the 30 amps. So the setup is 30 amps. Obviously I'm hoping not to run directly 30 amps, but more like 25 amps or so on it. Don't really want to push it but wanted to make sure that this is not the weak spot. So now we can go ahead and assemble this guy, at least in just one. I need to put in the insulator there too. Oh, it was actually the red one that was harder to put in. So let's start on this guy, since there's some pushing and shoving to do. So that went in, that went in, this is in, and we have here our gap. So let's push this stuff down. Okay, that's solidly down. Oh wait, that's not down. Woohoo. Are we in trouble here? Something is rocking here. Let's look this way. If we, yeah, we are, oh sorry, we are right here rocking a little bit as well. Yeah, we do have some difficulties here. Let's see if we can bend stuff to places. Dry fit this on. It's a nice part about having screws on this case, unlike some other cases. Yeah, it would be a little wider, it would be nice. So we definitely have some issues there. I think it's mainly on the red side. But not sure if I can do much about that. I'm kind of halfway, just feeling like we're gonna shove it together and be done with it. And say it's good enough. I think I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna find an insulator piece, put that in, and see if I can just close it good enough for me. So I decided to cut a piece of cardboard that fits nicely in here. I'm gonna cover that plenty with electrical tape, and that's kind of my theory on how to go about that. Don't have anything really better than this, so go ahead, wrap this here, and then go ahead and cut it here. So there's our insulator. You can shove it in here. Now it's a little bit wider because of the tape width. see if we can fold it over. And the next part is adding the other side of the housing on it. And then doing a lot of swearing. Hold on. Doing a lot of swearing of getting this here shut close, which I don't think I am able to get rid of this gap here. I put a screw in here, screw in there, just live with it. I think that's my solution here. I think, yep, let me do that. So I'm gonna screw that shut. So now we have our box finished, looking nearly good. This here's the awful part, but my plan is just to be done. So let's go ahead and see if we can plug stuff in. So this plug here works fine. Plugs on these sides work fine too. So that would be a win, I would say. Probably wrap just a strip of electrical tape there and it's good for me. Thanks everybody for watching, and put your opinion down in the link on what, if that's A, good enough for 30 amps, and B, what we could have done better on building that so it fits into the box, because maybe eventually I build another one that's a bit nicer. But thanks for watching. See you next time.